Gaining your financial freedom became easier nowadays. There are more billionaires in 2024 than it was in 2020. There's so many people who got wealthy nowadays, and you can do that too. Hi, I am Alina Goka, the founder of Soapy Mini and entrepreneur. Thank you for staying on my channel and watching this video. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about easy steps to gain your financial freedom. Before we start, please don't forget to click subscribe and like button to avoid missing new videos. All right, let's go. I'm sure that all of you agree with me right now that in 21st century, you don't have to be born wealthy or you don't have to inherit the money in order to become wealthy. Lots of people start from ground up and they have gained their financial freedom following these easy steps. I've studied lots and lots of really wealthy people and all of them do these. Step number 1, budgeting. I know it sounds really boring and I know it's a tedious task. I know that you think that you know where your money goes, but I guarantee you'll be surprised if you don't budget yourself and you studied your expenses for the last 3 months or the last 6 months. And by study, I don't say just look at it. I mean that put it in some kind of spreadsheet or in some kind of app and see the money distribution. I guarantee once you study your expenses, you'll be surprised. There's a few apps nowadays that you can connect to your bank account and they track your money and tell you where your money goes. However, I like doing it old-fashioned way. I like spreadsheets, I like charts and so on. So that's why I use just a Google Sheet to track my finances. I put all the expenses penny by penny into the spreadsheet and I see a bigger picture of what's going on. This disciplines me, gives me a clear picture of where my money goes, and this step actually gave me an idea that I need to give a direction for my money myself rather than wonder where they go to. That's why budgeting is number 1. Once you do your budget, you'll have an idea of what's going on, and I suggest to divide your expenses into several sections. So the most important sections in your budget would be your needs. So this is the money that you definitely have to spend. This is your utilities, this is your rent, this is your food, all the dependent expenses, so like your children or anyone who depends on you, all your car expenses. Here is everything that you have to have. You cannot not have. Then your wants. This is something that you don't have to have, but you still, you go out, you buy yourself clothes, you travel, you do something that is not related to your work or it's just for pleasure. And you have to have it. Then it needs to be savings. And I'm gonna talk about savings a little later. By savings, I don't mean savings, I mean investment. Money, the cushion that you use to gain your weight. And this is one of the most important parts. And the last would be giving. This is charity, donations, and so on. I suggest to have it in your budget as well. Once you learn your budget, you'll have an idea of what's going on right now. Now you need to plan it. All wealthy people, 10 out of 10, focus on their finances a lot. So where the focus goes, energy flows. That's why if you want to gain your financial freedom, if you want to become a wealthy person, you have to focus on money a lot and you have to steer your energy into it. You have to look at it, you have to talk to people, you have to watch videos like this, and you have to learn how to manage your finances better. Once you have your budget and once you got an idea of what's going on, if you look at the end of the month and you see that you live from paycheck to paycheck and there is nothing left, that means that first and foremost, you need to increase your income. This is another topic that we used to talk with my husband a lot before. He was telling me that, oh, you need to save, you need to stop spending. I'm like, okay, that's fair, but you need to make more because it's easier to make extra $1,000 than to save extra $1,000. Think of it. To increase your income, you can ask for a raise if you have a day job. You can get a side hustle. You can get a different job, or there's a lot of different ways. And I think I'm going to be talking more about it just because this topic is very fun for me. Lately, I got into finances not so long ago. That's why you can wait for more videos about this. If you realize that you spend everything that you make, then you need to increase your income. And then after your budget, you need to create your expenses plan or your finances plan. The second step is actually increase your income. Even if you're happy with what's going on, increasing your income and getting another set of cash flow wouldn't hurt. I encourage you to browse ideas on how to make more money. The next step is that you need to pay yourself first. And I already have a video about it. Please click to watch it. I explain more about the importance of it. So the next step is the savings. So get 10% into your savings. So by savings, I mean that you need to allocate your money to gain wealth. Like I said in the previous video, this is the core of your budget. This is something that you invest in your future. This is how you build your financial, your investment portfolio, and this is how you actually become rich. Rich people do not wait to become rich in order to invest. They invest to become rich. And it is easier right now to invest. You can invest as low as $1 and it's already going to be working for you. Money needs to work. When they sit in your account, you lose them just because the inflation eats them up and the change of the economy crush your finances. So that's why if you have some kind of savings, please make sure you have it work for you. Again, I had the list of everything that you can invest in the previous video. Once you pay yourself, once you allocate this 10% into your savings, the next step would be to pay your debts. And I suggest to allocate another 10% of your income. If you have personal loans or any personal credit cards that their interest rate is more than 10%, that is almost impossible to out-invest that. That's why you need to pay them out. Try not to use them at all. You have to use your credit cards. That's for sure, because we live in the United States and the credit system is everything. So you have to have a credit card. Plus they give you some kind of bonuses, points, cashback. However, you need to pay your expenses right before the month ends or within like 30 days. I think most of the credit cards, they give you 30 days grace period in order to pay them back without being charged the interest on these expenses. There's two ways of debt repayment. It's a snowball method and avalanche method. So the snowball is when you pay account with the smallest debts first and then pay minimum due on the rest of them. And then once you pay out the first one, you move to the next one and so on and so forth. And then the avalanche method is you pick the account with the highest interest rate first and then start repaying it. In the avalanche method, you do save a little bit of money because you pay out the high interest credit card first. However, I prefer the snowball method myself, just because once you pay something down, you get this feeling of accomplishment and it boosts your energy and you want to do more. So psychologically, snowball method works for me better. But again, you can pick and choose whatever works for you. But paying down the credit cards and loans that are more than 10% interest rate is very, very important because you cannot out-invest something like this. So technically, you have 100% of your income. So 10% goes to savings, 10% goes to debt repayment. So the next step would be the giving. So I would suggest doing 10% or a little less than 10% for giving. And this is another thing. Money is the energy, money is the tool. They need to flow and you need to get the habit of giving because once you give, you get. This is the universal laws. That doesn't mean that you need to give the last piece of everything and you don't have anything for yourself. Of course, you give out of abundance. However, you need to get into habit to give. And 10% sounds a lot if you're making small money, and I get it. However, like I said in a previous video, if you don't have a habit to save and to give while you're making like a little money, there is no way you can save or give money once you make more because your expenses are going to grow with you and your spending habits are going to expand anyways. So that's why giving is also important. So 10% giving. So we're going to have 70% left and 70% would be distributed between your wants and needs. In a perfect world, it would be 50% for needs plus 20% for wants. This is a perfect world, and I get it that most of the people the rent is high, the mortgage is high, we got like a nicer car and the payments are expensive and the insurance is very high. So your needs got more than 50%, and most likely you take it from either giving or, saving. And this would be one move. This is the first step, saving, and the payout should be your priority. If your needs fall into 50%, but you still have a lot of credit card debts, I would suggest redistributing this 20% into paying more of your debts in order to gain more wealth soon. However, don't lower this 20% to zero just because you need to enjoy your life. And if you don't have any percent for your wants, then means that there is a high risk of a burnout and you're gonna, get tired, get depressed. And this is not a good scenario. That's why you still have to have some kind of budget for the pleasure. However, the sooner you get rid of this, the better. And watch. Once you get rid of this, you don't take this 10% for your wants. You move this 10% to savings, so you invest additional 10%. And this is how you build your wealth. This is how you gain your wealth. Again, if you manage to decrease your wants or decrease your needs somehow, get more economical car or get a smaller house. If this is the case, then you either get your money for your wants, or I would again suggest to move this to savings. There are so many ways to start the wealth. It's never too late. It's never too early. You are in the right moment. The sooner you start, the better. Because if you're in your 20s, 30s, 40s, you still have time to build a good cushion for your retirement. If you are in your 50s, you probably need to become more aggressive. However, if you learn this yourself, if you get into habit to do this yourself, and if you teach your kids to do that, moreover, you can set up a lot of different accounts for your kids so they become wealthy even before they turn 18. But this is a side note. So these steps will get you to your financial freedom to become a wealthy person. However, you need to be very disciplined. Set up some kind of financial plan for the next couple of years. And another key element is you need to agree with your partner, just because in most of the families there is a lot of disagreement into financial plans that becomes a little complicated for the family to grow money-wise. You need to set up a plan, you need to discuss it with your partner and come to some kind of compromise in where your money go. But again, you need to have a bigger vision, because where your focus goes, your energy flows. And I wish everyone to become wealthy sooner than later. And I believe in every single one of you. Thank you very much for watching. Please drop a comment below. How do you distribute your money and what's your financial strategy? I'll be happy to read that. And until next time, thank you. Bye.